Kelly told me we had a really huge papyrus repair project to come in.
Not that one, Nick.
This is the really huge papyrus job that came in.
Oh, I see it now. Client came in with this papyrus, which looked beautifully framed, and obviously what had happened was the adhesive had let go and it had slipped down, so it was like this in the frame. Now, she called a number of frame shops and no one called her back. A lot of frame shops won't take jobs like this in because they're really tricky. You don't know what you're going to run into. But we were happy to give this a try. This is quite a challenge. I'll begin by saying this. Johnny Carson used to have an old bit where he said anytime an electrician, a plumber, anyone came to work on anything on his house, he'd look at it and he would say, "Who the hell did this?" And I really don't want to be that guy, because other than this one issue, this was beautifully done. But I figured out what happened once we got it apart. First, it wasn't held down by glue. This is a big, long piece of double-sided tape, and it runs the whole length of the papyrus. And when I first saw this, I said, that's PVA glue, which is the right thing to use. I don't understand how it fell down. What they had done was they thought that if they added little dots of PVA glue to the double-sided tape, it would reinforce it. You can't put glue on the type of tape that stays sticky all the time. It won't hold over time. So what I'm going to do is once I get it lined up again, I'm going to push down the double-sided tape again, which we know won't hold it. And then I'm going to come under here above the double-sided tape and glue the papyrus directly to this board. Which I might also add, they did a beautiful job of mounting this black velvety, this black cloth to the board. Other than that tape issue, this was beautifully framed. So we'll show you some more later and let you know how it goes. So this is the top of the papyrus where we have the double-sided tape. And what you're going to notice is how really, really wrinkled it is. I mean, the whole thing's going to be wrinkled, but let's go look at the bottom. If you look at the bottom, it's nowhere near as wrinkled. So what happened? When you attach this entire length, especially with double-sided tape or even glue, when you attach this entire length, it tries to expand and contract and it can't. And it starts to crease up and make these little sharp lines. So this should have been held down with little dots of PVA glue so that it's free to kind of move and expand and contract with moisture changes. That's why the top is so much more wrinkly than the bottom. And again, there's nothing I can do about that. So we're going to get this reattached. And the next big thing is, of course, it's not square, nor should it be. It's a papyrus. Is to come up with the right decision as to how to center this. I've got 2.5 here. I've got a little less than 2.5 here. Over here, I've got 2.5. I'm going to fix this too. Over here, I've got 2.5. So kind of going off what the standard I use when you have things that are unsquare is you make this and this the same as each other, and you make this and this the same as those. So your top line and your top edges feel nice and centered and squared off, and then the piece hangs the way it hangs. When you look at something like this, if the top line is crooked or this is off center on top, your eye really locks onto that. So we need to get the top and the sides looking nice and even from here to here. And then your eye locks onto that, and then if it's a little crooked, that's how it hangs. So when this came in, when it got framed, that had happened. And what I want to do is repair this. I did some research, and yes, you can use wheat starch paste on papyrus, especially contemporary papyrus. So this is going to have wheat starch paste put on it. And this is going to be glued back down like that. So first, I put this under here. This is silicone coated release paper. So whatever glue squeezes out will not stick to this, because I don't want glue squeezing out and sticking to this. So now let's see if we can get going on this. And it doesn't take much. I'm going to leave it sticking out at the top, and then I'm going to trim it. I may leave some sticking out of the side depending upon how tricky it is to get this positioned. Boy, doesn't that look nice, huh? I think that's going to do it. Now I'm going to take some weights and weight that down. And that is going to help me center this even better. I forgot to mention that this, the very thin paper that I used, is Japanese mulberry paper, which is used for this type of repair. And you will remember that the inside edge I made fuzzy like this, so it doesn't leave a sharp line or impression where you have the sharp edge of the tape. So we'll give this a little bit to dry, and then we'll start gluing this thing down. This is the corner I repaired. And actually, see some of these little things sticking up here? I took one of those and just built that corner out all the way. So that's all set. The other thing I had to do, which really goes against the grain, was, excuse the pun, I'm stuck with that double-sided tape. I can't do anything about it. So what I did was I added some more acid-free double-sided tape. This is non-stick paper. So what's going to happen is the old double-sided tape is going to be restuck down to the new double-sided ATG tape. And then once that's done, I'm going to come in with wheat starch paste, and I'm going to glue probably every 2 or 3 inches. And the important thing is I have to glue on a low spot. If I glue on a high spot, I'm going against the equilibrium that it's reached. So I need to glue it on the low spots. And then when it dries, it's ready to put together. Got the inside and outside of the plexi basically clean. Now, this has cloth on front and on back, and I have been going around, it's almost done now, trimming all of this because it keeps flopping up and going under the plexi with the static electricity. Now we're at the hardest point, which is getting it clean and dust-free underneath. got it. All right. Well, like I said, this was so nicely done other than the tape. These straps, which I've never seen this done before, I really like it. These straps go between here and here. So if the frame gets picked up from the middle, it doesn't bow out. It's really a very, very nice touch. That's it, we're ready to paper. It's done. It was really quite a project. First off, as we mentioned before, the reason it fell was about this far down, all along here, is a big strip of what looked like double-sided carpet tape. Now, as I said earlier, they put dabs of glue on the double-sided carpet tape, which doesn't dry properly onto pre-sticky tape, and that weakened the carpet tape, and that's why it fell. So I did two things. I could not remove the carpet tape. It should never have been put on there, and you should never use tape on this in that way. But what I did do was I added, on top of the carpet tape and the old dried glue, a whole new strip of acid-free ATG double-sided tape that will stick to the dried glue. So it's been re-stuck down with better tape, and then every 2 inches along here, as you saw in the video, there is wheat starch paste holding the top on. I don't think this is going to fall again. I hope it doesn't. It should be pretty solid for a long time. And we mentioned this earlier, this corner, when it got framed, it got folded over, and the papyrus had broken off there. That corner was missing. So I unfolded it, and with wheat starch paste and mulberry paper, I repaired that corner. And then this was missing, a chunk. So I took a little piece out of an area like this, put it on there, and that corner has now been restored. I know I say this, but I think we're going to have a very happy client. It's really not that heavy because of the plexi.
Yeah, it's nice.
So only have it on its back or standing this way.
Okay.
Never put it face down. And never put it with the bottom facing up.
Okay.
That's going to stress out everything. Oh, and I wax the frame too. So the frame looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
There you go. I tell you, I was really.
It's a little easier.